is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
Want to have fun with numbers? Let's try 11. The Indians made 11 wins in a row with a ninth-inning rally last night. The Tribe is a perfect 11-0 at home in the month of June. And number 11, Jose Ramirez, became the first player in the majors to hit in all 9 spots in the batting order last night. Danny Salazar goes for win number 10 as the Tribe tries to make it an even dozen in a row next on Sports Time Ohio. Turner Field in Atlanta. Only 39 home games remain in the history of this ballpark, including tonight. And the Indians will say farewell to the Braves, hoping to finish off a 3-game sweep. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. The Indians stay red hot. They've won 11 straight, and last night was a perfect example of a game that maybe a couple of years ago they wouldn't have found a way to win, but right now they're doing everything right, even in the close games.
Well, late in the ball game, Atlanta set the table for them. They walked the 2 men in the 9th inning. You get a clutch base hit here on a 3-1 pitch by Carlos Santana. They don't stop there. Ramirez, their best clutch hitter, gets a base hit. They ended up scoring 3 in the 9th inning. They were able to hold on, and that's been a theme going through this 11-game winning streak, is scoring from the 7th inning on. They've outscored their opponents 22-6 on the streak, 73-25. The pitching has been great, the hitting has been great, and it's been a nice combination all along.
Jose Ramirez now has something in common with Joe Carter. We'll tell you about that coming up during the telecast. But right now we want to tell you about Danny Salazar, because, Rick, Danny Salazar, Josh Tomlin, they've both put themselves in position to maybe be on the All-Star team this year.
They really haven't, and Salazar's trying to become the only guy other than Josh Tomlin to win 6 straight games. He's won his last 5 starts. He's been out there. He's getting a lot of help from his offense. They seem to score when he's on the mound. You know, on the road he's 4-2, and we'll see if Danny can start this game off with a good, solid fastball, slow everything down. He's going to get over the 100 strikeout mark tonight in this ball game. Opposition, he doesn't give up very many hits, and he's extra tough on left-handed hitters.
Yeah, last time out he was a little wild. He walked 5, but you expect that not to be an issue here tonight as he tries to pitch the Indians to a sweep of the Atlanta Braves. We'll be back with the play-by-play coming up, but when we return, Alan Jensen will take it away from the studio. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
I would say the only power hitter in our team would be Santana. And that's all it is. Santana and Napoli are one of the best ones running the bases here. You know, they read ball off the dirt. For example, last inning today, Santana going second today on that play is huge. Napoli yesterday going from first to second, error, he goes to third, boom, that's huge. You know, I know we won the game by a lot, but still that's a huge play. And, you know, it's just very important for us.
Back here at Turner Field in Atlanta, interesting comments there from Francisco Lindor. You think of Napoli and Santana as being the big bruisers in the lineup, but as we go downstairs to Andre Knott, they're also fleet of foot at times.
They are fleet of foot, and it starts with Rajai Davis, who's back at the top of the lineup in tonight's game. But the most exciting moment of this series so far for Terry Francona came Monday night in the 8th inning when Mike Napoli got on base on a walk. Then he went to second on a pass ball and went to third on another ball. He says basically when he looks at his team, as you heard right there from Francisco Lindor, not a lot of power hitters. They can't rely on power. They have to rely on each guy taking extra bases when they get a chance. The Indians are one of the best teams in baseball at advancing from first to third and base running teams. And when you ask Terry Francona, you ask a lot of guys on this team, they think their aggressiveness on the base pass has helped them get to the point that they're at right now.
Well, and then you add to that Rajai Davis and Francisco Lindor. Rajai leads the league. Frankie's fourth, so two of the top 5 base stealers in the American League.
Two of the top 5, and they took over the #1 spot in stolen bases in the American League. And I don't care, even if you're not a fast runner, you can still be a good base runner and a smart base runner and an aggressive base runner.
Let's take a look at the Indians starting lineup under Terry Francona tonight, brought to you by Progressive. Rajai Davis at the top of the order, then it's Jason Kipnis, followed by Francisco Lindor. Mike Napoli, Jose Ramirez, and Lonnie Chisenhall occupy the middle third. Then it's Yan Gomes, Tyler Naquin, one of the top rookies in the league this year so far, and Danny Salazar batting ninth.
Our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher is going to be Joel De La Cruz. He is making his major league debut tonight. Now, he spent a couple of stints here with the Braves, but never pitched in those outings. And you're looking at his numbers from AAA this year. And 5 starts, he's 1-3, a .468 earned run average. So obviously the first time he's ever going to get a chance to face a Cleveland Indian. So he was here last night, getting the start tonight, and we'll see what he has to offer. Let's set the defense behind him tonight. It looks like this. Bonifacio is in left, Enciarte in center, Markakis over and right. Garcia at third, Ibar at short, Peterson is at second, Freeman at first, Flowers back behind the plate tonight.
And the umpires tonight, Hunter Wendelstadt behind the plate, Adam Hamari at first, Bill Welke at second, Trip Gibson is at third. Jerry Lane returned to the park yesterday, but he was held out for precautionary reasons after he got hit with that foul ball on Monday night in the series opener. They thought maybe he'd be ready to return tonight. Still out. Hopefully we'll see Jerry back on the field soon. First pitch is ball 1 to Rajai Davis, 88 degrees at game time. And swinging a foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just a few clouds overhead, but a really beautiful afternoon here in Atlanta. Low and away. Rick, for a guy who has really transitioned from bullpen to starter, you wonder how deep they expect him to get into this game tonight.
Well, that'll be interesting.
That ball's hit in the air to left off the end of the bat, and Bonifacio can't get to it. And so Rajai Davis has a leadoff single. I couldn't tell, Rick, if it was off the end or maybe got jammed. It just didn't go anywhere.
You're right. It didn't sound very good.
Keys to the game brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Indians are not familiar with De La Cruz, so it may take a time through the order to get a read on him. We'll see. And for Indians pitcher Danny Salazar tonight, don't let Freddie Freeman extend his arms. He is a very good hitter, but he's the guy you can't let
you can
beat
pitch
you.
around if you want to.
Jason Kipnis riding a 10-game hitting streak. Takes a strike. He was 1 for 5 in the series opener with a home run in his last at bat. Last night he was 1 for 5 with a single and a run scored in his first at bat.
Well, De La Cruz is 27 years old, and he is the 15th rookie to play for the Braves this year, his 7th to make his major league debut.
It is somewhat interesting that here is De La Cruz at 27 years old making his major league debut, and he's older than Danny Salazar, who will be going for his 10th win of the year tonight. But De La Cruz is a guy who's had to persevere. Made his pro debut in the Brewers organization back in '06 and has pitched in 9 minor league seasons for 4 organizations. Foul right back. 1 with Washington, 6 with the Yankees. This year with Atlanta. Mentioned mine, you know, he started out with the Brewers, had an injury earlier in his career, missed an entire season.
Well, when you bounce around and you have your opportunities, when you finally get your chance at 27, you certainly want to take advantage of it.
Jason bangs it to first. Freddie Freeman backhands it. They get 1 at second and back to first. It's a double play.
Well, it goes 3-6-3. He gets the ball, gets rid of it quickly, and he's not far from first base, so he can get back. Gives a good feed to Ibar, a strong throw back, and they get Kip to hit into that double play.
And that will bring up Francisco Lindor. Eighth in the American League with a .312 batting average.
Well, I give him credit for one thing. He's trying to pitch inside here early.
Two 2-0 to Lindor. Chop towards second. On the move. Peterson throws him out. And the inning is over. No runs a hit, nobody left. The Atlanta Braves are coming to bat against Danny Salazar when we come back. The lineup he will face tonight for Brian Snitker and the Atlanta Braves: Jace Peterson, Ender Enciarte, and Freddie Freeman. all left-handed hitters, including Nick Markakis. Then you get a couple of right-handed bats, Adonis Garcia, Tyler Flowers. Switch hitters, Eric Ibar and Abilio Bonifacio, and then the pitcher, Joel Dela Cruz, batting tonight.
And Danny Salazar is our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher tonight. Salazar, his 15th start. He's won 5 straight starts, looking to make it 6. And Danny, 9-3 on the year. He has made 1 start in his career against the Braves, and he is 0-1.
Jace Peterson, 3 out of 8 in the series with a home run. That came last night. It's that foul out of play. It's 0-2. Same result here. It stays no balls and 2 strikes. Oh, barehanded grab.
Yeah, with
so
the left hand,
nonchalant.
nice.
Like I do this all the time.
Now look at this. He throws that big bear claw out there and grabs it and just reels it in. That's a nice play. No glove.
Jace Peterson drives one. That's in the alley. That's trouble all the way to the wall. And Peterson rolls into second base with a leadoff double.
Well, he speeds his bat up a little bit here because it was an 0-2 pitch and it's the first changeup he throws, and there it is. I mean, it is right there. Almost looked like a cutter, but it is the changeup, and it just stayed on that same plane. So he drills it into the gap in right center field. Short hops the wall. They get it in. Peterson, his 4th double of the year.
Ender Inciarte. That's a balk on Salazar. And now Peterson is at third base.
And they were all over it. Every one of the umpires saw it. So that's his, I think, his 2nd balk this year. Watch him. He'll move, and he stopped. Yes, he did. You could tell.
Gomes was trying to get a timeout called and maybe get him off the hook, but to no avail.
That's his 3rd balk this year.
Down to the dirt. Well, coming in, you looked at this lineup, you thought this has a chance to be a good matchup for Salazar, given the left-handers batting just 150 against him this year. With a .247 on base percentage, only 1 home run.
Yeah, it's just a matter of him getting settled in and getting a feel for it. A lot of times Danny has to search to find that fastball command in the first. Well, he made a mistake with his changeup and gave up the double, which is okay. You're trying to get a feel for it out there early, but it was an 0-2 pitch. He balks him to third, and now they have an opportunity to get on the board.
Out of play.
Inciarte had a very good at bat against Kluber last night. He was battling, and finally got the base hit where they wanted to go inside with a fastball. Corey didn't get it in there. Kluber couldn't get it in. He got the base hit up the middle to tie the game at 2. He started playing a little game of pepper with him when he gets to 2 strikes. Look at that.
Right to third. Ramirez going to come home with the throw. Gomes with the tag, and he got him.
And that's
Nice
the
play by Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, that's the play right there. Now, whether you go on contact with nobody out, I'm not so sure, but that's one you have to read as a base runner. This is going to be our AT&T high-speed replay. Just give Gomes a good feed. He gets the tag. They get the out at home plate, and they can cut off that run. So a nice play, and that was his the right play for Ramirez.
Tell you what, after the second look, credit Gomes there. The throw by Ramirez was actually to the first base side of the plate. He had to reach back, grab it, swipe the tag back around. So well done on both ends. And now here's Freddie Freeman, the big bat in the lineup with a team leading 13 home runs. Freeman, a guy who has accounted for 35% of the team's home runs this year. And you think about that in historical perspective, Hank Aaron, 3 different times, 1968, 1969, and 1971, finished years with more than 30% of the team's home runs.
Wow.
Now the 0-1 offering. And a foul back. The only other guy on that list who's been over the 30% mark in terms of the team's home runs, Dale Murphy back in 1984.
Yeah, that's right. You can't forget that name here down south.
His number retired here along with Hank Aaron. Freddie Freeman down on the count 0-2 with the runner at first and 1 out. And that gets away from Gomes all the way to the backstop. And Enciarte around second will stay there. I don't know what happened, if that was a cross up or if he just flat.
I think he spiked a changeup here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He spikes a changeup. He doesn't have a feel for that pitch yet. He hung the first one. He spikes this one. And it gets by, so it'll go as a wild pitch. So he has a balk, a wild pitch, trying to get a feel out there. And we've seen him do this now in the last few starts.
Now the 1-2. Ripped to second. Kipnis with a catch. Go back to second base.
That ball had some
Enciarte's
top
there.
spin on Kipnis. He had to really look that ball into his glove because it was biting down. It's right on the line. Watch, it has some top spin to it. Kipnis gets it, looks it in, tries to throw behind, but he gets back in time. Now we can set that Indians defense for you, brought to you by Jeep. In the outfield, it's Davis, Naquin, and Chisenhall. On the infield, it's Ramirez, Lindor, Kipnis, Napoli, and behind the plate, Yan Gomes.
Nick Markakis looks at a ball down low. Markakis 0 for 7 in the series. And while the home runs are way down for him, he is tied for 5th in the National League with 21 doubles. And it's 2-0 as once again Danny trying to command the fastball here early in the game because everything else works off of that. He had a tough time in his last start commanding just about anything on a consistent basis. Got in on him, fouled it back.
Yeah, in his last starts, it got to the point where all of a sudden he'd fall behind hitters and then let's go. I got to throw my fastball. He'd make quality pitches once he had to. You mentioned he walked 5 against Detroit. Only had 3 strikeouts in his last start. Went 5 2/3 innings. Normally, that's not a Danny Salazar start. You know, he gets a lot of swings and misses when he's on his game.
Swung out and missed, and it's 2-2, and that was just an overpowering fastball.
That's where you look at. You try and locate down. Get a feel for that pitch, both in and out.
Now the 2-2. I mean, just ramped it up and threw it by him. 96 miles an hour, gets his first strikeout. And though the Braves had runners in scoring position, they failed to score.
MLB.com @bat app. You can stay connected all season with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com @bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Mike Napoli will lead off here. Inning number 2 for the Indians. Napoli starts the night 10th in the American League with 52 runs batted in. But I thought this was interesting. I didn't realize that they actually tracked this stat. I didn't realize it was part of the stat pack until today for some reason. But an RBI ratio, he's 5th in the American League. He's averaging an RBI every 5.2 at bats.
All right, you like that. He's had some base runners on to do it too.
Out of play, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, the one thing I did notice about De La Cruz in the first inning, it looked like he had a pretty good sinker working that he was keeping down in the zone. That pitch that Napoli just fouled off looked like the first slider he has thrown tonight.
Fastball and tried to overthrow it, took off on him. Yeah, it's kind of funny. He's been better as a starter than he was as a reliever. Maybe that has something to do with being 27 or 26 years. There's a line drive toward left, and it will be caught. Our great clip of the game from last night, Jose Ramirez. #1 hitter in the American League with runners in scoring position, batting over 400 in those instances. And that was the long and short of why Terry Francona batted him 4th last night, with Mike Napoli getting a day off. And Ramirez, wouldn't you know it, delivered.
You know, you come to a National League park, the designated hitter doesn't hit, so you know Santana's sat a couple of games, Napoli sat last night, so it when you think about it, it makes sense to put him up there because he is your best clutch hitter. And he happened to come through. He got, with those couple RBIs, he moves to 30 on the season. You look up and down that lineup, they're all close to 30, if not above. He leads the way, 52.
The 1-1. It's funny, I mentioned a moment ago De La Cruz. I said 26 and then 27. I was reading a story. In one paragraph, they call him a 26-year-old right-hander. 2 paragraphs later, they say he's 27.
His birthday was in between sentences.
He did just turn 27 earlier this month. So
yeah,
that might have been the case. But, you know, when he was pitching out of the bullpen at AAA, his ERA was almost 6. They move him to the rotation, and in 5 starts, 3.38 ERA.
Well, you know, coming out of that bullpen, if you have one bad outing when you're in there early in the year, it can stay up there for quite a while.
Towards second base, backhanded by Peterson. And Freeman can't get the throw. There was contact right at the bag.
Looked like Ramirez got him on the back of the head.
And they're going to give him second base. The ball, I didn't track the ball. It must have gone into the Braves dugout.
You watch, he gets Freeman on his head. I don't know if it was with the helmet or with his hand. There's the throw. It's a bad throw. And Freeman misses it. And he clipped him with an elbow on the side of the head.
Yeah. Unintentional, but.
No, yeah, right. Insult to injury right there. He comes across the bag. And that ball trickles into the dugout. So the bad throw. And Ramirez will go to second base.
It'll be a 2-base error on Jace Peterson. And Peterson's lucky. Freeman's okay.
Yeah.
Or that would have been more than just a 2-base error.
That's 53 errors now for the Braves.
sometimes I think you see more errors on routine plays where guys have too much time.
Sort of lack of concentration, maybe.
I just think, like anything else in life, you start thinking too much instead of just letting your ability or just reaction. You start thinking, uh-oh, what am I doing? All of a sudden you're halfway and what am I doing?
Yeah, you lose your arm slot or whatever. That was a routine play. You're right.
Down low.
It's a couple of changeup that he has thrown. Looks like his changeup and slider seem to be about the same speed.
Lonnie Chisenhall has been flourishing here of late. Spun him out of the way. It's 3-1. Just a few days ago, Lonnie went 4 for 4 in Detroit.
Well, look for a good sinker down right here. That would be right up Chisenhall's alley. Sinker down, 3-1. And a good one, too.
Tops it to first. Easy play for Freeman. Ramirez goes to third, 2 down. T-Mobile, greater coverage of baseball. Jose Ramirez, I told you this at the top of the show. We're going to get to this later. Joe Carter, the last player to bat in all 9 spots in the order in a single season before Jose Ramirez completed the feat last night. That was back in 1985. And I think it's probably worth pointing out that Ramirez's feat may be even a little more improbable in that you think back to 1985, that wasn't exactly a strong edition of the Indians. And so you might have been a little more willing to move guys around in the order, try some different combinations.
was the manager back then.
This is a first place club. It's not like Terry's saying, oh, who are we going to bat first tonight? Who are we going to bat third tonight?
Yeah.
It's just he's been that good and that versatile. As Gomes pops one up, should end the inning. And it will. Indians cannot take advantage of the defensive miscue by Atlanta. No score, middle of the second. In the driver's seat tonight. Run support average, and this really puts you in the driver's seat if you're a starting pitcher.
Well, isn't it funny? The guys with the best stuff get the most runs. Look at Arrieta, 8.2. Salazar over 8.
Porcello's having a great year. Of course, Strasburg, who's
I mean, seriously.
on the DL.
He's on the deal, but that's how you win games.
Yep.
When your offense is you're pitching on the right day.
Well, I've been asked a lot since the Indians have been on this tear about this pitching staff, and for me it harkens back to that 2005 Indians starting rotation. When you want to talk top to bottom, that 05 team had a terrific starting rotation, and that's the year Kevin Millwood won the ERA title, but only had 9 wins because they didn't score when he pitched.
What was he, 9-13 or 9-11? Yeah, something like that, right?
The ERA was under 3, but he was the tough luck guy that never had the run support. 2-1. Line to center. Naquin makes the grab, 1 down. Let's go down to Andre with more on Danny Salazar.
Well, one of the things Danny's had to deal with, guys, is trying to warm up and not overheat. And obviously down here with the humidity and the temperatures over the last couple of days, he's kind of talked to the other guys of how they warmed up and prepared for the game. He did some long toss, did some other things, but no coat, no jacket, and I know he's still got the undershirt on. But that's something that he thinks played into some of his problems early in his starts over the last couple of starts.
Well, it's, hey, baseball was, always will be a game of adjustments. And that goes for pitch to pitch, batter to batter, inning to inning. And the weather is part of that, because you have starts when it's cold and you're trying to stay warm. You've got starts when it's brutally hot and you're trying to just not overheat out there.
You ask any pitcher, and I'm sure they'd rather pitch in warm weather than cold.
I would think so.
And even though I think they have the advantage more so in the cold weather. Look at the fans are even trying to cool off.
The 0-2. Swung on and missed. Just overpowered Tyler Flowers with a fastball. 2 down.
Arch, funny that you said that about the heat and the pitchers. I talked to 3 different ones. Jeff Manship said, ask him about his mile per hour. He goes, I will pitch in the humidity and heat any time of the week. All the guys in the bullpen said they prefer pitching in this stuff than any other weather we've been in so far this season.
No question. You know what? It only takes you a couple. I used to love when we'd go down to Texas and play. It takes you just a few throws to get your body loose. Your muscles just seem to get loose so quickly.
I just think, Andre's a big car guy, and the analogy is like trying to run an engine without motor oil. That's what it feels like when you throw when it's cold. Everything's grinding in your shoulder and your elbow. At least when it's warm out, you feel fully lubricated. You can go out and throw
loose,
all day.
you're sweating, yeah. You may tire a little faster, but it's okay. You can get loose a lot quicker.
Eric Ibar, 2 out of 6 in the series. And defensively, he's made some costly mistakes. It's out of play. Ramirez gave it a look, but
got to send out a special hello to Sammy and Taylor Seacrest out watching the ball game from Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, we have seen large number of Indians fans at this series here in Atlanta.
Boy, you're not kidding. You wait till they get a hit and drive in a run. Half the stadium will be cheering.
Swung on and missed. Ibar down swinging. Danny Salazar appears to be right on track here in inning number 2. 1-2-3 go the Braves. He's fanned 3 in the first 2 frames. for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. You go through a few of those tonight.
Well, a couple Indians fans sitting there, they may.
The last year for Turner Field, built for the Olympic Games that were held in the summer of 1996. It officially opened for the Atlanta Braves a year later. But it has quickly, and I mean maybe faster than any park I can think of, outdated that quickly.
Yeah.
In 20 years?
Absolutely.
Tyler Naquin leading off, looks at the ball outside.
You look at this ballpark, it looks fine. You know, the playing surface is beautiful. But we understand the one they're going to is going to be very, very nice.
Naquin lines a base hit into center field. But Tyler continues to play well. He leads the American League in batting average among rookies at .325 coming into tonight.
Oh, there's that sinker down right into Naquin's wheelhouse, who lines that single into center field. So now Salazar will be bunting, and believe me, he's got to bunt because he is no hitter. Danny, 0 for 11 with 10 strikeouts and 11 plate appearances in his career when he's been at the dish. So if you can get him over, that would be a bonus, and not a very good attempt there. You can see that Danny's a pitcher, not a hitter. But you can help your cause.
Danny's already squared around. He wants to get it down. Did he offer at it? No, he pulled it back.
Yeah, Matt Whistler, you remember, late in the ball game, they let him stay in the game to sacrifice and move the runners along. Although he didn't come back into the game to pitch, but they didn't waste a pinch hitter to do it.
Bunts it and foul.
All right,
third base
give
side.
it one more crack. I mean, if this was a normal situation, you don't have to worry about making a perfect bunt because Naquin has good speed at first base. You're just concentrating on getting the ball down and bunting a strike.
Which, against a guy who can sink it with that two-seamer,
Yeah.
it's difficult. That ball's moving at a high
it's
rate
moving,
of speed.
but it's good. It's down. It's easier to bunt on the ground than a lot of guys will throw high fastballs.
Yeah, he will strike out on the foul attempt. And there's one away here in the third.
Well, fans, I'll tell you, you may want to come out to Progressive Field next week. You got to see the first place Indians wrap up the first half of the season. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the Tigers are in town, and they're going to try and stay undefeated against them. And then it's a 4-game series against the New York Yankees. The only time they come to town as we head into the All-Star break. You can go to Indians.com for your tickets. 7 games. Let's go. We need some crowds. The Tribe's been playing great. Let's see what you got.
1 on, 1 out. Quick flip to first. Naquin back with a dive. Well, I think that's I think the answer to your plea is going to be big crowds. Maybe not every single night, but I hear the phones were ringing. Tickets were being sold.
I would expect to see very good crowds when we get back.
The thing about this team is that I know it's you win 11 in a row and everybody wants to talk about hey this is it's exciting. I understand everybody gets caught up in it, but this is not a flukish streak.
Right.
And to take nothing away from your 82 club that did it, this team is built a little differently because of the pitching. I think it's more sustainable. Not that they're going to win 10 out of every 11.
Well, other than last night, for the most part.
Chop to third. Adonis Garcia to second. There's one. And they do turn the double play. We'll continue our conversation about the Red Hot Tribe. But as we go to the middle of the third, we are still scoreless in Atlanta. track at Progressive Field. Or if you're a little more hardcore, you can ride 50 miles with Indians first base coach Sandy Alomar. Bottom line is, whether you're just pedaling down the street or you're pedaling hundreds of miles, you can join Velasano. First 50 people that sign up get a free registration and an Indians bike jersey. All you have to do is log on to velasano.org, get yourself signed up. It's a great cause, raising money to fight cancer. Emilio Bonifacio with a long fly ball to deep center field, and Tyler Naquin on the dead run over the shoulder pulls it down, one away. That was a terrific play by Tyler, who had to run. It was all, Rick, you could draw a straight line from home plate to the point in center field. Well, that ball was hit.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. He had a good break on it. His shoulders and hips were going in the same direction, and he could see the ball. He took a peek back, and he had plenty of room to grab it before he gets into the wall.
Is it a little weird when you're in center and you see one hit that straight, because you're usually figuring the ball's going to go a little left, a little right?
See, that's the one thing about center field. It doesn't hook and slice like it does in left and right. If anything, it would have just a little bit of a tail, but he made the right step on step number one to get started directly with a good line.
Joel De La Cruz, the Braves pitcher, quickly down 0-2. Wow, he smoked it right back up the middle. And De La Cruz with a one-out single. It's only the second hit for Atlanta tonight.
Well, the fans like it. He comes up here, drops the head of the bat, and hit a P. And that ball's going out into his locker.
This is his major league debut tonight.
How about that? Steps up, and you're more concerned about pitching. He gets up and hits a P right up the middle. Let's see. Going to be a fastball right there. Yeah, and even pitchers can hit it when it's down the middle. So the second hit, they are 2 for 9 that first trip through the lineup.
And top of the order now, Jace Peterson. Peterson.
Where he hit that ball in the right center field his first at bat. If you look at where Naquin's playing now, he's playing him toward left center field. So that means that was a bad mistake by Salazar on an 0-2 pitch.
Out of play.
That's the way they're expecting him to hit the ball, is the other way.
There you see where Tyler's shading him over toward left center.
Yes.
Gets ahead of him. A ball and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the third. Peterson homered last night in the 9th and then doubled his first time up here this evening. Weekly tap to short. Lindor to Kipnis. There's 1 on the first. He beats it out. And there are 2 down in the inning. Terry's looking back into the dugout. He's waiting to see if this is a play they might want to challenge, though at first look it did not appear to be worthy of a challenge.
Well, it's awfully close. It might be, but that's a double play ball. You should turn it. That was close, but they do not. They're going to leave it.
He did just beat it out, and it will bring up Ender Inciarte.
See it coming back from this angle.
Wow, that was a lot closer than
I know. Well, maybe they just feel like you're not going to overturn it. It was that close.
Ball skips away from Gomes, and on the wild pitch.
Second wild pitch. He only had 3 coming in all year. He's got 2 tonight. He's been spiking a couple of them. There's really no chance for Gomes to do anything with it. So he gets into scoring position.
1. Fastball in, but pulls it foul. A ball and 2 strikes with Peterson in scoring position and 2 down in the 3rd. Third time tonight, and the Braves have had a runner in scoring position. Peterson was at 3rd in the 1st, but was cut down on a ball that Ender Inciarte couldn't get out of the infield. Fouled back. You know, that also speaks to how well Salazar has pitched, even when he gets into tough situations. It's just hard for guys to get hits against him.
Yeah, that you're right. He can strike you out. He can get it when he needs it.
For 10 when he has the bases loaded. That's what hitters are against him. 6 strikeouts. Now the 2-2. Out of play.
I remember the bulk of those situations. They came in Houston, if you remember, in the first 2 innings. When they walked the bases loaded the first, after, well, a leadoff single and then 2 walks, he had bases loaded, nobody out, struck out the side. Same thing in the 2nd inning, because he was searching for it early.
Now the 2-2.
He's pulling that changeup tonight. He's either spiking it, and that's the 3rd time he's thrown a changeup inside to Inciarte in this at bat.
Popped him up, and the fastball gets him out of the inning as Inciarte fouls out, and the Braves strand another runner in scoring position. No score through 3 in Atlanta. Here in Atlanta. For Cleveland, it will be Jason Kipnis, Francisco Lindor, and Mike Napoli 2 up. These folks enjoying a nice casual evening at the ball yard. Jason Kipnis banged into a double play his first time up. Indians have already hit into 2.
mentioned, he's got a pretty good little sinker. Keeps it down. He seems to keep it down. Sometimes he tries to elevate it, and he's had a tendency to overthrow the fastball. And a little slider, not much, but this is the second time through. Let's see if anything changes.
In the dirt, 1-1. Two singles so far for the Indians offensively. This is a team that has been on a roll, both pitching and hitting, during their 11-game win streak. It's not been just carried by the offense or just carried by the great starting pitching. I mean, the offense is averaged better than 6 runs a game.
Yeah,
with 46 extra base hits.
You know, it's been fun to watch. It really has, because they have been firing on all cylinders, and they've really made it look easy. And you've got, you know, guys like Chisenhall, Kipnis, Santana. They lead the way with 9 ribbies in the 11-game streak, followed by Ramirez and Uribe, who have 8. So, I mean, it's been just about everybody, you know, pulling their share of the load.
And the 2-2 to Kipnis. Smash to center field. Back goes Inciarte, and he'll make the catch. Our stat of the game is brought to you by Buick. Indians with a 20-6 record here in the month of June. So since 1996, it's been one of the best we've seen, and they've got a chance to actually one up that September of 2013 club if they can win here tonight and win the series opener tomorrow night in Toronto. But as Terry Francona said, look, we're not getting caught up in the streak, and the players understand that what happened yesterday has to be left here at the ballpark when you leave that night, and you come the next day focused on that game and that game only. And well, I think the team has done a very good job of that. As Corey Kluber said, you know, we're going to lose a game at some point. And when we do, we've got to be able to say, okay, it's over. Let's come back the next day and start again. To third, backhanded by Adonis Garcia. And he makes a good throw, 2 away. It's the longest winning streak since 1951, when that club won 13 in a row. Or should they win tonight, let's put it that way, it would be the longest win streak since 51.
It just goes to show you what your team is capable of doing when you go out and play the game the way you should play it. You have a tendency, you can run some streaks off, and they started it off with a 6-game streak in the first part of June.
Yes, right.
You know, they won 6. Then they went out on that road trip. They got off to a decent start. They got swept, and now they come back and they win 11. But when you win 20 out of 26 games, you're playing consistent baseball. There's no luck involved. You may catch a few breaks here and there, but you earn those wins.
The 1-0. You're right. I mean, there's been nothing flukish about what has happened. Sure, they've had some breaks. That, you know, they've had a couple of walk-off wins, but
but you put yourself in position to get those, and that's when they started to take off at home. But they've carried this over on the road too. You know, where they're playing. They have as many wins on the road as they do at home, even though they've played some more games on the road. But anytime you're over 500 on the road, you're doing a good job.
Mike Napoli not in agreement with Hunter Wendelstedt on that call. Looked low, but he gave Tyler Flowers the benefit when he tried to frame it at the bottom of the strike zone. Three and one. Tyler's another one of those big, both he and Pierzynski might have to be the tallest catching duo or tandem in baseball.
Yeah, he's a big kid.
Low again, ball 4. 2-out walk keeps the inning alive. Napoli hit the ball hard his first time up. It just looked like De La Cruz was not going to give him anything that he could handle.
Well, that's his first walk tonight.
That'll bring up Jose Ramirez, who reached on an error his first time up. One of the best moments of the game last night came after it had finished on Indians Live when Andre Knott asked Jose Ramirez what he did when he saw his name in the lineup card in the number 4 spot in the order, and he said, "I took a picture of it."
Well, why not? Do you ever think he would be hitting 4th at the major league level?
Line drive, right center field. That's in the gap. Will Marquez cut it off? Yes, he will. But Napoli flies all the way to 3rd, and Ramirez headlong into 2nd with a 2-out double.
Boy, I was hoping that ball would get into the gap, and then you would have seen Mike Napoli come around to score. But this is the team leader in doubles. Ramirez now with 18. His hustle gets him into second base. That helmet came flying off. But Napoli goes to 3rd, but it is with 2 outs. He put a good swing on the baseball, just couldn't plug the gap and get it through there.
Now he's also getting close, Rick, to moving among the top 10 in the American League in doubles.
Yeah, he's been pretty darn consistent.
Flowers out to talk with Joel De La Cruz, making his major league debut here tonight at the age of 27. And this is the first sign of trouble for him tonight, but there are 2 outs in the inning, and Lonnie Chisenhall will be the batter. Chisenhall, 8 hits in his last 14 at bats, including that ground out in the 1st inning. Missed inside. He's done a terrific job with runners in scoring position. Out of play to the left.
Well, this is where the Indians also in that streak. We haven't talked about it. You talk about all the runs and everything they score, but they've been doing it a lot with 2 outs as well. And when you're scoring runs with 2 outs as an offense, boy, it seems like everybody else joins the party. It takes the pressure off a lot of people, whoever gets that first hit.
Low and away, 2 balls and a strike. It's one of the few games, Rick, I have to go back and look through the scorecards that I can remember where they haven't scored in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, that's true. 38% of their runs this year have scored with 2 outs. Base hit here could raise that.
And the 2-1 pitch upstairs. Mike Napoli, who walked with 2 outs, is at 3rd base, and then Jose Ramirez, who doubled, down at 2nd.
Chisenhall has to remember first base is open. You've got Gomes on deck, and we'll see what they want to do here. They don't have to give in and throw him anything that good.
Came in, and Lonnie was waiting for it, pulled it foul, full count.
Little slider. He wanted to throw it inside. He didn't really get it there, though. It almost looked more of like a cutter than a slider.
Yeah, it didn't have much down
No,
action.
it stayed on the same plane. You see that? About belled high.
31 out of 55 pitches by De La Cruz have been strikes. But this is the first time the Indians have put him in a tight spot, though there are 2 outs in the inning. And the payoff pitch is popped in the air. This should get him out of the jam. Enciarte makes the catch. Tribe strands 2 in scoring position, middle of the 4th, still no score in Atlanta.
on July 4th. That'll be Monday when the Indians will try to make it 10 in a row over the Tigers. From 5 to 7, $2 Budweiser cans out in the right field district. 15,000 fans will receive a replica batting practice pullover. And then the fireworks to follow the ball game. The theme would be America Rocks. Visit Indians.com and get your tickets today.
Well, Danny Salazar back to work here in the bottom of the 4th. Freddie Freeman leading off. He had a line drive to second base his first time up. Freddie Freeman has been walked intentionally 9 times this year. That's second most in the National League. So you think 9 intentional walks, 33 overall. How many of those were unintentionally intentional?
Right, just to pitch around him and not. And that's, I mean, that's what you can do when you have one really good hitter in your lineup and the rest of the guys that are having a tough time. You don't have to throw him strikes. And I know Nick Markakis is a pretty good hitter behind him, but he's not going to hurt you with the long ball, you know. So
swung out and missed, and Freeman down on strikes. That's 4 Ks for Danny Salazar. 1 gone here in the 4th inning.
This is going to be our Circle K strikeout here on the changeup. That's just a deadly pitch right there to left-handers. They have a tough time hitting it, especially when he gears that 95-mile-an-hour fastball a pitch before.
Danny says of that changeup, he says, look, it's weird. It feels like a string, and then it drops, or it goes inside or outside.
Depending on his grip.
And he said, but by throwing every pitch as if it's going to be the last pitch I throw that night, it's helped him with that changeup because I'm aggressive and I know it's a hard pitch to hit. But he said, you know, when I tried to throw it at lower velocity, when I was trying to take the velocity off of it, he was slowing his arm angle down.
Right.
And he said they were killing it. But now he's throwing it just like every other pitch, and they have no idea what's coming.
And that's why it takes him a while to get a feel for that pitch sometimes in ball games. But that changeup, that's deadly. And I like what you say. I'm throwing it like it's the last pitch I'm going to throw that night. That means he's throwing it as hard as he can, and don't worry about where it goes or what happens. And he thinks it's hard to hit. Go ask the left-handers how hard it is to hit. Those guys are the ones that are swinging and missing.
Now, I don't know how they come up with these numbers, but just overall, according to the story that I read recently, hitters were batting 8 for 68 against his changeup this year. I'm assuming that's every time it was put in play, and that's a fair ball down into the corner. Markakis on his way to second base, and that's double number 22. He came in tied for 5th in the National League in that category.
Okay, said Markakis can be a good hitter as well, and he gets the changeup, but that was sort of a flat one, and it stayed right there, a left-hander's dream, down and in. So he was able to keep it fair, hit it down into the corner, so you can tack one more hit on that changeup right there by a left-hander. So again, they'll get a guy in scoring position, as they have had every inning but the second.
Adonis Garcia lined out the center his first time up. And a ground ball, weakly hit to short. Lindor. Off balance throw, but right on the money. Napoli stretches for it for out number 2.
Well, here's Danny getting loose, settling in. Nice fastball away. A couple of them right there. Going away, swing and miss. And he has an explosive fastball, and then there's that little changeup. Going straight down, nasty.
Here's the good news so far tonight: no walks. And,
Yeah.
and as Mickey Callaway said recently, if he can get the walk rate down, he's really going to be scary because he hasn't pitched as well as he can, and he's still dominating the league.
Yeah. You're right. 5 walks in his last start.
Tyler Flowers pops it up. Right fielder Lonnie Chisenhall squeezes it. Inning over. No runs, a hit, a man left. We've played 4 at Hotlanta. No score. Furniture for the best deals on furniture and mattresses. Shop Levin's. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. And by the Cleveland Clinic. Access anytime, anywhere. Back here at Turner Field, or as the locals refer to it, the TED. No score. 5th inning. Bottom third of the Indians' order due up. Ted Turner, the former owner of this club, and for a long time he was Atlanta. You thought of Atlanta, you thought of Ted Turner because he kind of put the region on the map with the Superstation.
Boy, did he ever.
And being able to televise Atlanta Braves games all over the country. And people from everywhere were watching Atlanta Braves baseball because back in the 80s, sometimes at night, that was all there was to watch. And even though they had some dreadful teams,
still watched them.
Skip Carey was always entertaining.
Yes, he was.
And then they got really good. And of course, we know the rest of that history. Yan Gomes pops one up, foul out of play.
Speaking of Teds, we had a big Ted today before the game, didn't we? A big Ted.
They call it the Ted. It's the everything dog, TED, and it has literally everything.
Yeah, Delaware North puts it out here in this ballpark, and they brought us up a couple of treats that was very tasty today.
The tater tot chop, by far the best thing I've ever had at a ballpark.
And we have more than one person to witness that.
It was waffles stuffed with tater tots and cheese and scallions and green onions and bacon and
you wrote
jalapenos.
It down so you could take it at home and make it, didn't you?
Wow, that was pretty amazing. The burgerizza, Jerry's still out for me on that.
Yeah,
one. It was good. But
I hear
wow.
you. People are saying, "What? There it is!"
Smashed up the middle, and Yan Gomes has a base hit for the Tribe. They have their leadoff man aboard for the 3rd time in 5 innings.
Well, a good line drive off the bat. It stayed in the middle part of the field. Caught a pitch out over the plate, right over the head of the pitcher. That's the old chuck and duck right there. Throws it in there. Gomes gets a base hit up the middle to start the 5th inning.
A strike to Tyler Naquin, who singled to center his first time up. Down low. Tyler Naquin leads American League rookies in batting average, on base percentage, and slugging percentage. And we've seen all of that on display in this series. He has 3 hits. He's walked twice. A couple of doubles. Ball, or the foot slipped out from underneath Peterson. They still got the force at second base, though.
On a nice pick by Ibar to save his second baseman.
That looked like it was going to be disastrous.
You know, he wanted to try and go and get the lead runner, and I understand that, but watch the right foot give way. As plant foot, he goes down and it slides out. And boy, he gets help from his friend there. The shortstop picks it nicely and holds on to it before Gomes could get his foot at the base. So the fielder's choice.
And now Danny Salazar, who tried to bunt his first time up but couldn't get the bunt down. He'll be trying to do the same thing here.
Just keep the bat out in front, Danny.
Pulls it back and it's ball 1.
We may have to have Andre give him a few bunting tips. That or hitting tips, right, Andre? When you get a chance, let's go.
That bat out in front of the plate.
You got to have a talk with him about his hitting.
That's the one thing I can do. I'm not swinging it, but I can get it the bat out.
Well, you know, you can teach him. I'm sure he listens to you.
Runner goes.
Look at that.
And Danny gets it down. They'll still try for second, and they got him.
That's
How do
okay.
you like that?
He got a good bunt down, but they charged him, man. They were way in, and they were going to force him. So he did his job, got the bunt down, but they go the way, and they will get Naquin. You can see he's running down to second base, but he got it. You see where he fielded the ball at.
You know
man.
what?
He's
Out of the
15
corner of
feet
my
out.
eye, I thought Tyler took off on the pitch, and he did not. I thought it looked like he was trying to get a head start, make something happen there, but good play by Adonis Garcia, and with 2 down. That's the last thing Francona wanted to see happen there,
Yeah,
though.
have his pitcher out there on the bases.
Rajay Davis rockets one to deep left field. It's
And
over
go
the
figure.
head of Bonifacio. And
Okay,
a
slow down.
one-hopper into the crowd, so Salazar must stop at third. Where Rajay Davis put a charge into that baby.
Well, he gets a fastball and just he drilled it to left field. That was right down Broadway, and he gave it a ride, and it one hops into the seats. Well, you were hoping that hit the wall. It hit the top and it kept going. Had that top spin on it. Gets into the seat. Ground rule double for Davis. Is a 12th. So again, second and third with 2 outs. It'll give Kipnis an opportunity now for a 2-out base hit. That's 5 hits for the Indians. They have one in every inning but the second.
Jason 0 for 2 tonight. Way out in front of it.
Change up. There's Kip. 2 outs, runners in scoring position, 324 average with 16 ribeyes.
Jason shoots one by Garcia at third. Salazar scores. Here comes Rajay Davis, and the Indians lead it 2-0 on Jason Kipnis's 2-out, 2-run single that just skipped past third baseman Adonis Garcia.
Yeah, how do you like that swing right there? You watch how deep he lets that ball track and just slaps it the other way. Boy, that he waited on for a long time and then smokes it. You can see where he's playing. Garcia's got to go to his left, but he hit that ball by him. That got by him in the air. So a really good swing by Kip right there, and the Indians will take a 2-0 lead with a big 2-out base hit.
The Indians 34-7 on the year when they score first. It took them to the 5th inning, but thanks to the pitching of Danny Salazar so far, they have the lead. And looking for more now with Lindor at the plate. Kipnis takes off, and the throw down is not in time. That's only the 5th steal for Kipnis this year, but Rick, he was obviously going on first movement right there. Just let's go.
They had a read. They finally got aggressive and they took off. He had a very good jump. Flowers realized it, and it sort of made him rush his throw, and he short hopped Ibar out there, who's taking the throw. He gets his. That's a good quick slide. Look how he goes right into the bag and stands up. Quick pop-up slide there. I like that slide when you're stealing a base, not head first.
Now Lindor has an RBI chance. Back out of play.
That is the 63rd stolen base now for the Indians. They took over the #1 spot in stolen bases. They've only been caught 14 times, so a great ratio.
De La Cruz at 70 pitches on the night, and we do have some action in the Atlanta bullpen. This young man's done a nice job, but the Indians getting to him with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Lindor bounces it foul, but Jason Kipnis delivering after the Indians were 0 for their first 3 tonight with a runner in scoring position.
Redbird tells me 11 consecutive games with a run scoring with 2 out.
And a lot of Jason Kipnis's RBIs, he ran some numbers at me, but I couldn't write them down quick enough. A lot of his ribbies have been clutch, like the kind that give you the lead or tie the game. 12 go-ahead RBIs for Kipnis. 23 with 2 outs, and now Lindor drives one to deep center field. Inciarte back, still going back, and makes the catch on the front edge of the warning track to end the inning. But Jason Kipnis connects, and the Indians lead it 2-0. to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. More bad news for the Kansas City Royals. They just got Alex Gordon back off the DL, and now Lorenzo Cain strained his left hamstring. So
yeah, the injuries continue.
He's out at least 2 weeks, and you never know with a hammy how that's going to heal.
Well, that's his game.
Eric Ibar swinging a miss. Danny Salazar has a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, this is the part of the lineup you'd love to see Salazar come out, have a quick 1-2-3 inning, get his offense right back into the dugout. Let him go back to hitting.
Out of play. The 0-2. Blew it right by. That was 96. And it was at the knees on the outside corner. And Ibar's thinking to himself, maybe I can just foul this off. No chance.
No, it's by you. Look at that, was in his glove. You don't have, I mean, that's just an excellent location. It was off the plate. I mean, it might have had a chance to be getting called to strike if he doesn't swing at it. But that's all you can do is try and foul it off, and it was way too hard for him.
There is Emilio Bonifacio, who flying out the deep center his first time up. There's one to first. It gets by Napoli. And Bonifacio will hold with a 1-out single. That ball was hit extremely hard, and it's a do-or-die play. Napoli just kind of threw the glove out, hoping he could backhand it.
Yeah, he came back with a back-to-back changeups here. And he gets it under the glove. He, as you said, he hit the ball hard. That's not an easy play whatsoever. So the 4th hit now for Atlanta. That'll bring the pitcher up, who has one of the 4 hits. De La Cruz picked on a fastball right down the middle and got a base hit, his first major league at bat.
Already squaring.
This is where the Indians want to charge now and throw to second.
Ramirez goes to second, and they get the out there. Back to first, an inning-ending double play.
Nice pick by Lindor.
All the way around, a great play. Ramirez charging, and then his low throw was dug out by Lindor, and by the time he turned and threw, it was an easy double play.
Yeah, they're Texas 20-6 also in the month of June. They're playing exactly the same way the Indians are.
Mike Napoli going to lead off here in the 6th inning, and the Braves will go to a shift 3 on the left side of the infield. Napoli lined out to left in the 2nd, and then with 2 outs in the 4th, he walked. Chopped to third, but foul. Mentioned before that this 11-game win streak, it's a lot of fun for those of us who cover the team and for fans who watch every day to get caught up in an 11-game winning streak, what it means, the historical perspective on it. But for the guys in that clubhouse under his direction, Terry Francona, they can't get caught up in that. They've got to separate one day from the next and treat each and every game as its own chapter in this story that is a baseball season. But Mike Napoli was asked about it, and he said, look, we're having a good time right now. And he said, look, we're just riding the wave, and winning obviously has a lot to do with that. But he really believes, and he's been on some good teams that have won the World Series, but he said, we've got some good things going on. And he said, we just got to keep trying to ride the wave that we're on.
Well, he said that, but he also, in talking to Tito, he goes, what use is it in thinking about what we did yesterday? He goes, if I strike out 4 times yesterday, he goes, I don't want a guy thinking about that, the next day. I want to move on and give something positive. You learn from it and go. And he wants the whole team to be that way. And Nap kind of said the same thing. He goes, it's nice what we've done, but we better look ahead to what's ahead of us, or we'll get caught up and lose because of that.
Yeah, and I think when they say ride the wave, and that's what Napoli's talking about, everything positive's going your way. It's a good feeling. So stay that way and just keep going, because sooner or later it's going to end. It doesn't stay that way, especially in a game of baseball when you're playing every single day.
Well, look, there are a lot of sort of mental exercises that a lot of us go through on a daily basis to try and stay in the moment. But one of the best that I've heard is, the past is over, leave it there. Prepare for the future. The present is now, live in it. And I think that's the attitude you have to have in baseball. You prepare for the future, but you can't think about Toronto and Detroit and New York. You've got to think about the Atlanta Braves right now. You've got to live in this moment, and this game is all there is. And as you said, whether you're 0 for 4 last night or hit 4 homers, it's over. There's a fly ball to center field. Enciarte. 2 down. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. This has been it so far. It's been a well-pitched game on both sides, but Jason Kipnis with 2 out and 2 in scoring position drove them both home with a sharp base hit past the third baseman. And Danny Salazar has made it stand up so far. And Lonnie Chisenhall will bat here 0 for 2. Deep down the right field line, but pulled it foul.
Well, season tickets offer the best perks, including savings and access to Tribe Rewards. And today's Tribe Rewards TV code is Lonnie. Visit Indians.com season tickets for the complete details.
The 0-1. High drive. Deep right. If it's fair, it's gone. Markakis looking up. Goodbye. Lonnie Chisenhall with his 5th home run of the year, 2nd in the series, and the Indians extend their lead to 3-0 as Lonnie Chisenhall who has really heated up here in the month of June, continues to sizzle.
You know, his 5th home run. And he loves hitting this ballpark. We said it before. This is his 3rd home run here. And he's got family members and everybody in the crowd. So he's thrilled about that trot around the bases. This one was high and it was deep. It makes it a 3-0 ball game for the Indians.
And now Yan Gomes, who had a base hit his last time up. That's hit pretty well. Right field. Marquez back. He's got room, though. He makes the catch to end the inning. But Lonnie Chisenhall sends one out of here, and the Indians have a 3-0 lead. One on, one out in the 5th, and Joel De La Cruz tried to bunt, but watch Ramirez really charge hard aggressively.
Well, I like the pick there by Lindor. He wanted to make sure, he was like a first baseman. Make sure you get it before you throw it, and had plenty of time to turn it.
Top of the order, Jace Peterson. You know, it just occurred to me that it's funny how good defenders make other defenders better. So if you've got a great defender on your team, he makes the good ones a little bit better.
Yeah, they rise to the, yes.
Because, you know, we've talked about it in the past. If you're throwing a ball to a base and you're not confident that that guy can make that short hop pick, then you try to make a perfect throw and you end up throwing it wildly sometimes. These guys are just letting it fly. Napoli's scooping, he's digging it out. Kipnis is going and diving. You know, Francisco can make that little backhanded pick there. It gives you the confidence to just make a play. Now Peterson just gaps one to left center. And he's in the 2nd with a leadoff double for the 2nd time tonight.
Yeah, he's plugged to both gaps now tonight. First time was a changeup going to right center. This time he goes down and gets a heater to the other side. He goes to left center this time, and they have their 3rd double out of their 5 hits. Well, he'll start the it's exactly where he started in the 1st inning, and Salazar balked him to 3rd. before he got the ground ball or the fielder's choice to get him at home plate. So we'll see how they play it here.
Ender Inciarte is 0 for 2. In the air left field near the line. Long run for Rajai Davis, and he slides and makes the catch.
Nice
into
play.
Foul territory for out number 1.
On the backhanded side, too. You know,
Whoa.
not an easy catch because he's already into his slide by the time, you know, he's on the ground. So he's sliding where that ball goes into his glove. That's not an easy play, and he had it on the backhanded side, and it was a fair ball. So it was a nice, fine running catch coming in. Not only takes a hit away, but Peterson has to stay at second base. Nice play. I still remember that catch in Detroit to end that game in center field.
I think
In
that's one
center.
we'll look
That
back
was,
on for a
oh
while.
my goodness, yes, indeed.
Rajai has been a special addition to this team.
Yes, he has. He loves to play the game. He loves to play the game of baseball, man. He has a good time doing it.
Swung on and missed. I remember when he was in Toronto, and you said, man, he'd be a good fit on the Indians ball club. And then he went signed with Detroit in the offseason. We had to watch him over there.
I was thinking, and he always played well against us. He's just one of those guys. He creates excitement. He has an energy about him. He's prepared. Now that we get to see him play every day, I wish we would have had him 3 years ago.
Yeah, you appreciate him a little more when you get a chance to watch him every day, no doubt. Well, it's a 1-2 count on Freddie Freeman. He lined out in the first and struck out in the 4th inning. Oh man, good block by Gomes. That ball way out in front of the plate.
Wow, that had to be 4 or 5 feet out in front of the plate. Gomes did just a terrific job to keep that ball in front and not let him go. It went right off his chest protector. He just threw that whole body in front of it. Danny's done that a number of times tonight.
Got him again.
He can't lay off that pitch, can he? That's what he's trying to do. Throw that changeup down and in and get him to swing over the top, and he gets him for the 2nd straight time.
6th strikeout of the night. This was the play earlier on the road trip. If you missed it, that saved the game with Miguel Cabrera at the plate. He was the tying run at the time.
Bobbled it, goes back in, catches it.
And then would complete a double play on the throw back because the runners couldn't tell what happened and they had just taken off. And a lot of the folks in the stands didn't know exactly what had happened. Everyone was sort of confused. Did he catch it? Did he bob? Did he drop it? Did he pin it up against the wall? Well, he caught it all right. Nick Markakis, 1 out of 2 tonight. He doubled his last time up. It's a key spot here for Danny Salazar. Trying to keep the Braves from answering.
Well, the Braves so far tonight 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position tonight.
And the 1-1 up and away.
Markakis hit a changeup down the right field line for a double in his last at bat. So it looks like Salazar and Gomes staying more with the hard stuff away. This guy has always been a very good hitter. When he was with Baltimore, came back with it.
Nice little off-speed pitch over the outside corner. He's been better tonight than he was his last time out in terms of the command.
Yes, no question.
Even though he's bounced a few, and he had a wild pitch early in the game, but a couple of wild pitches actually. One in the first, one in the third. But, you know, and Yan Gomes has said it before, sometimes you get back there and you say, trying to catch him's hard enough. I can't imagine trying to hit him.
Well, they have a tough time squaring it up. You know, that's why you'll see the pop-ups. You'll see a lot of swings and misses. When he makes mistakes and he misses his zone, like any pitcher, they're going to hit it hard and they'll let you know. The hitters let you know when you make a mistake. But he has a little extra velocity on there that he can get away with it more so than a guy, let's say, like a Josh Tomlin.
And yet both of those guys are sitting here with 9 wins right now.
Yeah. In different fashions, different ways they go about it.
Now the payoff pitch and a foul back. Adonis Garcia would be next if Markakis reaches. And that might have been the conversation. Look, Garcia's a right-handed hitter. We've done a good job against him. They've done a good job against Markakis too, but there's no reason to give in right here. You can still make him go after your pitch. And the 3-2 is swung out and missed with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball away. And that is strikeout number 7 for Salazar as the Braves strand another runner in scoring position. Baseball is brought to you by the Injury Lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. By Ford, built Ford tough. And by Subway, fresh is what we do. The Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made by Atlanta. And left-hander Ian Kroll coming into the game. He worked in the series opener. Gave up a couple of runs on 3 hits in 1 inning of work. Joel De La Cruz went 6 innings tonight.
You know, not a bad start for him in his first major league start. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. He gave up the home run. And all the runs were scored with 2 outs by the Indians.
Tyler Naquin leading off, taking a called strike.
7 hits.
Naquin singled in the 3rd, reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th. Lays off. Well, another thing the Indians have done well in the month of June, and in particular during this win streak, is when they've had a lead late in games, they've been able to kind of pull away or put the game away.
The old add-on theory. But normally they would score in the first 3 innings, as you mentioned before. Today it's been the 5th and 6th inning.
Breaking ball right at Freeman. Catches it on the line drive, 1 away. All of baseball superstars will come together for the prime time event that will light up the summer. The All-Star Game from Petco Park in San Diego, Tuesday, July 12th, only on Fox. I've been asked, Rick, about who I think will represent the Indians at the All-Star Game, and I'll really be stunned if Francisco Lindor isn't added to the All-Star team. I know he's not going to get voted on by the fan vote, but I know there's some good shortstops. Xander Bogaerts obviously very deserving, but you know, Lindor's numbers are as good as anyone's, and I think
he certainly does belong there, no doubt.
But this guy's got a good chance to be put on that All-Star team along with Lindor, Danny Salazar, because again, Ned Yost is the manager, and he gets to see a lot of these Indians pitchers.
Well, and let's not forget about Josh Tomlin. He's 9-1.
I'm pulling for Josh, just on a personal level, because we've seen how hard he has worked to come back from Tommy John surgery and then the shoulder setback, and he's the guy that sort of everybody just said, oh yeah, and Josh Tomlin this year when they were looking at the Indians starting rotation, and I kept saying, look at what he did down the stretch last year when he was finally healthy.
Yeah.
And
he's been
fantastic.
I'll tell you what, they love to play behind him.
Rajai Davis takes a look. It's down low, and I know every team has worthy candidates, and it's not easy filling out that all-star roster.
Well, I don't know how they go about their pitchers. It seems like more relievers make it than starters.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on when you pitch last. If you're a starter.
Line drive to right. Indians go 1-2-3. Stretch time in Atlanta, with the Indians leading it 3-0. Go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. When you get on a roll like the Indians have been on, it can't be just one thing. It's got to be everything going well. Offense, pitching, and defense. And they've played really well defensively tonight.
Yeah, they have. They turned this double play on the bunt to get out of it. Rajai Davis makes a nice running catch. I mean, that's been them throughout this streak, and for the most part throughout this whole month. They've pitched well, they've hit well, and they played very good defense.
The other day, Rick, I was watching MLB Network, and they had a little segment on the show with Matt Vasgersian, and they had Mark DeRosa, and Mike Lowell. They were talking about nicknames and who would you want to be. Jet Bandy was one of the nicknames.
Oh,
not
yeah.
nicknames, but just great names. Jet Bandy and Socrates Brito. And I was thinking, boy, this guy's got a terrific name. Adonis Garcia.
Yeah.
I mean, that's strong.
Yeah, for a third baseman, Adonis, yes.
Salazar pours a fastball over, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Salazar. And a foul back. Danny closing in on 90 pitches tonight. He has truly scattered 5 hits. He's only retired the side in order one time. That was in the 2nd. Ramirez, long throw from 3rd, right on the money.
Well, Danny has 6 strikeouts tonight, and you're going to get a look at it. There's a fastball away, another one. It's such a great fastball. That one had some movement to it. Changeup down, good fastball away, and another changeup. Boy, he's got a number of ways to go at it. When you elevate the fastball, you could just see it's a dart.
Yeah, he punched out back-to-back batters in the 2nd, did it again in the 6th. 7 in all. And Tyler Flowers, who went down swinging in the 2nd inning, bats here with 1 gone in the 7th. Tried to hold up, but he went around on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, you would think when you're facing a guy like Salazar, you wouldn't get a swing like that 2-0 because you're going to have to get it started if you're looking for his fastball on a 2-0 hitter's count. But that wasn't a very good swing there by Tyler Flowers. Not a whole lot of time to make up your mind. You got to get it started.
And I wonder if that was one of those swings where he 2-0, he's looking, he sees it out of the hand, it's good, and then he thinks to himself, that's probably too high to really do anything with, and he tried to stop it, he was already committed, and it just went, nah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. He throws him 95, 96, and then he comes back with that wicked changeup, and it's just not fair sometimes. That is strikeout number 8.
Yeah, you're right. The elevated fastball, and then you throw that Bugs Bunny changeup.
He missed that thing by a foot, maybe.
Well, it's easy to do, especially when it's down there. You think that thing's going to stay on the same plane, and all of a sudden the bottom falls out of it. So 7 strikeouts now for Danny. 8.
And he's retired 5 in a row. He has struck out Eric Ibart both times tonight. Belt high fastball outside corner. That's the one he struck him out with the last time up. Change up right over the top. He is starting to feel it now. Where earlier in the game he was still kind of searching for the feel of that changeup at times. He's got it rolling
I think
now.
he knows this is it too. This could be the very last hitter he's going to face tonight, so he wants to go out in style.
And the 1-2 is a fastball hit on the ground to short. Lindor throws him out. Danny Salazar has set down 6 straight and will go to the 8th with the Indians in front 3-0.
The telecast is presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Danny Salazar gets a handshake from Terry Francona, tells him his night is over after 7 5-hit shutout innings. Did not walk a batter.
That's what I like.
Struck out 8.
Like Mickey Callaway said, boy, if he can, you know, minimize or lower those walks, he's going to be awfully tough, and he certainly was.
You realize that's the first time this year Danny Salazar has pitched a ball game and has not walked a batter.
Yeah.
So going back to the comments I told you about earlier, what Mickey Callaway say? If he can get the walks under control, look out. He has a chance to be really,
well.
really
There's
scary.
a guy there's the guy that's right there with him with 9 wins. Danny's looking for 10 tonight, and I think Tomlin's done it 7 times this year where he has not walked a guy.
Jason Kipnis extending his hitting streak tonight with that clutch 2-out 2-run single in the 5th that gave the Indians a 2-0 lead. He's collected a hit now in 11 games in a row. So his hit streak really has coincided with the Indians win streak, because remember he had that 1 game off in Detroit.
Right. Yes, he did. That's true.
So that's the only game during the win streak that he hasn't had a hit in, because he didn't play in it. Ooh, drilled him in the back. And he'll take his base to start the 8th.
Well, let's see what the pitch was. It was not a fastball. It looked like a breaking ball coming up, and it gets him right on the top of the number 2.
I get a kick out of it, Rick, when I go to see my son play sometimes. You know, there's 17-year-old kids, 16 years old in some cases. And if a guy gets close to being hit by a pitch, all the guys in the dugout just start hooting.
Do they?
Wear it, wear it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They want you to wear it.
Right on. Lindor gets the bunt down. Stays fair. It actually hit the bat.
Yeah, that's the second time. That happened last night where
I'm not so sure this wouldn't have gone foul if the bat hadn't have kind of blocked its path. Watch the bat sort of keep it from going foul.
it sure did. It blocked it from coming foul.
And Brian Snitker heads to the center of the diamond. Looks like we'll get a pitching change here with the right-handed hitting Mike Napoli due up and a runner in scoring position. So timeout with 1 on 1 out in the 8th. Indians leading it 3-0, trying to add to their advantage. We'll get a new pitcher. We'll tell you all about him when we come back. Indian style in Toronto against the Blue Jays. Our coverage begins with Indians live at 6:30. First pitch at 7. Right here on Sports Time Ohio. Or streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Swing into Summer is presented by Miller Lite. Be a fun matchup tomorrow night. Indians and Blue Jays. Right now, good matchup. Talk about power versus power. This is it, baby. Mauricio Cabrera. He can run it up there at 100 miles an hour plus. And Mike Napoli, well, we all know he's the Indians' big thumper in the middle of that lineup with 16 home runs to lead the club this year and 52 runs batted in. And he's got Jason Kipnis out there in scoring position as the Indians look to add to their 3-0 lead in the 8th. But Cabrera's a guy you want to try and maybe see if he'll throw a strike first, because he can be wild. Ball 1 up and in. The other night, he pitched in 1 inning and allowed just 1 hit.
Yeah, but he has a live arm.
Oh, right back into the mask of Hunter Wendelstedt.
Knocked it right off his head.
Now remember, in the series opener, it was Jerry Lane who got knocked out of this game.
Yeah, I think, wasn't it Markakis that was hitting that? I mean, this thing was pretty much the same thing that happened.
That staggered him a little bit, I'm telling you.
To Jerry Lane, that's the same thing that happened to him. I mean, it was just a deflection that went directly into the mask.
But Jerry got it
on the side. Yes, and I don't think it got his mask that way. But that was a direct hit. He seems to be okay. Let's check out what happened to Jerry Lane here 2 nights ago. Boom, right upside on the neck. And that's where Jimenez saved him. He was going down. And now tonight, this is a little different. It gets him straight in the mask, but it knocks it right off.
And it looks like Hunter's okay, and he tells everybody he's good to go. Again, if you weren't with us the other night, it was kind of a scary moment for Jerry Lane. But he did come back to the park last night, but they wanted to give him at least another day, and it looks like obviously 2 days because he's not back in the umpiring rotation here tonight. But he's a veteran umpire. He's been around a long time, and we certainly wish him the best. In the meantime, back to work here now as Napoli awaits the 1-1. miles an hour. And this is, you know, people in the Atlanta Braves organization say it's easy gas because it doesn't look like a lot of effort. It's just boom.
Well, even though you're throwing 100, 102, they still have 3 guys on that side of the infield. You know, you think you might not be able to pull him as good if you're throwing that hard, but they still play him there.
Napoli drives one in the air, deep center field. Inciarte back. He's at the wall and he leaps and makes a fantastic catch. Kipnis, though, alertly went back, tagged up, and he gets to third, but now there are 2 down in the inning. Wow, he just missed driving that ball out of here. He hit it just about 400 feet, and Inciarte tracked it a long way.
He hangs him a breaking ball after throwing him a 102-mile-an-hour fastball outside. Napoli stayed back. Inciarte goes up, times it beautifully, catches it right before he goes into the wall. It wouldn't have been a home run, but it would have been off the wall. So Kipnis tags up, goes to third base. Nice play by Inciarte. And now there are 2 outs.
And this is the guy
for
you want at the
Mr.
plate.
2 out.
Number 1 hitter in the league with runners in scoring position. It's tough to check on it when it's 103. 103 miles an hour. With 2 outs, Ramirez is 13 out of 30 on the year with a runner in scoring position. Oh, off the leg. Now this really gets interesting for me because you've got Jose Ramirez, who is the 4th hardest batter to strike out in the American League. And you got a guy up here who can throw it over 100 miles an hour.
Well, you're sitting fastball. You have to.
Pop back out of play.
You know, this guy, I'm sure as he was coming through the minor leagues, it's tough for him to develop that breaking ball because they're going to say, how do you want to get beat with a 98 to 102 mile an hour fastball?
Yep.
But, you know, you've still got to develop your other pitches. That was a slider.
And Ramirez got to it, but pops it in the air and ends the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 left. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 3-0 Cleveland.
by Sports Time Ohio and back, and includes your first drink. You can grab some friends and catch the game from the corner. Out in right field are the new drink rails in left. District tickets only available at Indians.com/district ticket.
Now the fans enjoying a beautiful night here in Atlanta. It can be extremely hot and humid this time of year, and it has been the first couple of days, but it seemed like about game time the humidity just sort of went away. It's been really beautiful. Now it's Brian Shaw on for the 35th time this year. And he's got the bottom of the lineup, Emilio Bonifacio. Then we'll get a pinch hitter. It looks like Jeff Francoeur.
Yes, it is.
And then Jace Peterson to up third. Bonifacio 1 for 2 tonight. And Shaw with the first pitch strike. Weekly grounded to short. Lindor throws him out, 1 down. And we'll get a pitch hitter now, Jeff Francoeur. Francoeur was ejected from last night's game, even though he wasn't playing. He was on the bench. There was a close play late in the game at first base, so Ender Inciarte thought he had beat out a ground ball because Santana juggled the ball when he flipped it to the pitcher who was covering the bag. Replays confirmed that he was out, but Francoeur still didn't like the call and threw his hat on the field and said some less than kind things to the umpire, so he was asked to leave early. 2 down. This was the play, and Inciarte even afterwards was incensed. But look, y'all understand the heat of the moment. Your competitors, you want the call to go your way, but taking it out on the umpires in the park doesn't do any good because they don't make the call on the replay.
Yeah.
It's a guy in New York who makes that call.
I know. You're right. They do it. There's nothing they can do. That's why you're not allowed to argue. It's not their call. And it's just frustration that sets in, so you're automatically ejected.
You could read Jeff's lips. What are you looking at? Look at the replay on the board. I'm sure Hunter Wendelstedt said, it's not my call. I made the call on the field. It's a guy in New York's looking at the replays. And while I can understand their perspective, they thought he beat it. We thought he was out. It was, it was really close.
It was close. Yes, it was.
It wasn't like it was an egregious mistake made by anybody in the process.
It was a tough call. It was close.
But as we explained last night, there's no such thing as a tie goes to the runner, and the runner must beat the ball to the bag in order to be called safe. Gomes took the brunt of that foul. And with 2 down, they'll regroup. Jace Peterson's had a nice series. This guy's not a bad player. I mean, he's got 5 hits. He's got a home run, a couple of doubles. Did have one lazy defensive mistake that cost him an error earlier tonight. But when you look at Atlanta and where this club's going into the future, they need some young players to be able to build around.
Yes.
I would think this guy's part of that core future.
You would think so.
Obviously, guys like Bonifacio and Ibar and Jeff Francoeur, even Nick Markakis to a degree, they don't figure in the long-term future plans. That guy is sort
That's
of the
guy you're building around.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman. Now the 1-2. A little bit low. Shaw has gone through ups and downs this year, but his last 4 times out, he has struck out 6. He's walked only 1 and has not allowed a run. Peterson, very patient, has worked the count full. And he draws a 2-out walk. Saturday, it's baseball night in America. A showdown between the Reds and the Nats at 7 Eastern on your local Fox station. Yankees Padres at 9:30 in a game you'll see only on FS1, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Indians, of course, will be in Toronto this weekend. Just a programming reminder, tomorrow 7 o'clock game, but then Friday it's a Canadian holiday, so Friday's game will be a 1 o'clock start. Saturday also at 1, and then Sunday at 1. Down and in. Good stab by Yan Gomes.
Yeah, looks like they're going to make Shaw try and throw strikes. Francoeur hit the first pitch. He had Peterson down and ended up walking him.
You know, again, sometimes that's Shaw. When he has problems, he gets too much movement. That ball's 94 miles an hour, and it's bending like a slider. I mean, I don't think that's what he's trying to do there. There's a good pitch over the outside edge.
And Enciarte taking that all away, making him get in the strike zone because he's trying to get on base to bring that tying run to the plate.
Especially when it's Freddie Freeman.
Right. This guy works in at bat.
Chopped up the middle. Kipnis backhanded flip, but it's off the mark. And so the tying run will come to the plate here in the 8th with 2 down. As Enciarte reaches on an infield single.
Well, it was scooting up the middle, and this is the only play that Kipnis had, was try to get it to the backhanded side, and then the transfer just couldn't handle it. So now that will bring the tying run to the plate. It'll go as a base hit for Enciarte. A 2-out walk, now a base hit. Out comes Mickey Callaway.
Now they're talking over.
Yeah, let's discuss that. You're on the dead run. You have no choice, but I mean,
of course, Peterson's a second baseman, so he's probably tried that play a time or two as well. Well, key spot now after the walk to Peterson on a 3-2 pitch. And Enciarte bangs one up the gut to reach Freddie Freeman. The Braves slugger, and really their best power threat, the tying run at the plate. Popped him up out of play. Now the 0-1.
Pretty good pitch right there. Wow. Trying to tie him up inside. But if you miss, you got to miss in off the plate to the big man right here, and he does. But Like the idea of it. Get him back off the plate a little bit.
Started it off the outside corner, and it came back over the plate for a strike.
Yeah, watch the movement on this pitch. Gomes looks like he wanted it up, but that thing just kept running and running, running. A lot of movement.
That took off. Well, you know, the Braves have done a nice job over the years to develop some really good hitters. You think back to David Justice, who they developed, was their minor league whiz kid, and he came to the big leagues and was a stalwart here for years. And then Ryan Klesko was a big power hitter they developed here. And a few years after Klesko, Freddie Freeman comes along. I mean,
Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones being a Hall of Fame, right?
Oh yeah.
There's no doubt.
No,
right?
one of the best switch hitters going ever. Chipper, yes, he will. Terrific player.
2-ball, 2-strike count with 2 on and 2 out. Shaw's pitch. Up and away, full count. So the runners will go. Swung out and missed. He struck him out. Look at Freeman. He smashed his bat in half when he fired it into the dirt at home plate. It was a fastball borderline. He might think that he swung at a bad pitch, but the Indians get him and end the threat. Next out, 9th inning here in Atlanta, and Casey Kelly winds it up and fires it in there. Lonnie Chisenhall, who's had a good night, 1 for 3 with a home run in the 6th inning. Chisenhall has 5 hits in the series. This made it a 3-0 game on this swing back in the 6th.
Oh boy, caught one flush right there. That was his 5th on the year.
2-1 the count. Rolls over, but it's foul.
Pretty nice run for Lonnie over the last 8. 10 ribbies.
The shortstop Ibar takes care of that one away. Our Pat O'Brien play of the game. Game on the line right here with Freeman the tying run at the plate.
Yeah, he gets in there and he ends up going to a 3-2 count. That cutter was moving all over. He missed with that high fastball, but fouled one off. Watch when he gets to the 3-2. Freeman hated it. Boy, he chased when he felt. That ball didn't come in like the rest of them did. That was stayed right on its course, and he gets a big strikeout.
And Yan Gomes, 1 for 3 tonight, takes a strike. Right back. In St. Louis, the Royals and Cardinals are scoreless in the bottom of the 5th. Tigers beat up Miami earlier today 10-3. And the White Sox lead the Twins 4-1. They're in the 6th in Chicago. Popped him up. It's the second baseman, Jace Peterson, and there are 2 away. Tyler Naquin 1 for 3 tonight will be the batter. The Indians are trying to run their win streak to 13 in a row, excuse me, to 12 in a row, which would be their longest since they won 13 in a row in 1951.
That's turning back a few pages right there.
And when we started looking at some of those numbers, it was just surprising that the 95 Indians, who just seemed to win every single day, that they didn't have a win streak this long.
Yeah.
Now they won 100 out of 144 games, but for what it's worth, they didn't have an 11-game win streak. Misplayed by Peterson. Boy, that was not an easy play, but fairly routine for what we've seen from him in this series. And
well, they're going to give him a hit, and it's kind, because if you're at the big leagues, you got to make this play. He's going a couple of steps to his right. It's a routine play, but he just doesn't catch it. If he catches it, he had time to throw him out. But it'll go as a base hit, and Naquin will certainly take it.
Going to get a pinch hitter now, Arch. We'll see Carlos Santana, who will get back to regular duty tomorrow night when the Indians head to Toronto. But during this interleague series on National League soil, he's been somewhat limited. He did play first base last night, so he got to start, but he was limited to 1 pinch hit appearance in the opener and 1 pinch hit appearance tonight.
Well, he had a 3-1 count last night and got a big base hit to drive in the go-ahead run at that point. They ended up adding on after that. They walked the first 2 guys in the inning. Santana came up big.
Missed inside. Casey Kelly got 2 quick outs to start the inning, and it looked like he was going to breeze through on the ground ball by Naquin, but after Peterson was unable to come up with the ball, Now he has to face Santana. Trying to keep everything away, and Santana looks like he was trying to pull. Cody Allen is ready in the Cleveland bullpen. The only question now is, will it be a save situation, or will Santana give him some more breathing room and maybe take that possibility away? Upstairs, 2-1. The left-hander Gorzolani, he's either up just getting some work, or he might be coming in if Santana bombs one out of here.
Yeah, that's true too. Just going to get a fastball.
Boy, he got that in just enough.
Well, he helped him out. That looked like it was in off the plate.
Yeah. But I think his eyes lit up when he saw a fastball
coming in. But watch how he has to pull those hands in. That was way in. And a ball, you can see where Flowers is going up to grab that ball up around his belt.
The 2-2. And a pop-up foul out of play. I want to come back for Zombie Night.
When is that? In July? Mid-July, yeah.
We're giving away a zombie bobblehead doll. You know,
well,
The Walking
ask
Dead
our buddy Don Sutton. He'll save you one.
Well, The Walking Dead is based in Atlanta. That's where the story kind of happens. Great show, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
I haven't. I know you're a fan.
Foul back. Yeah, the new season should be coming out here late this summer, early fall.
Well, he'll send you one. I guarantee he will.
Again, the 2-2. And another foul ball.
Well, he's not going down easy. He's fouling off some pitches in off the plate. And the breaking ball.
Both Santana and Mike Napoli on pace for 30 homer seasons this year. Ground ball. Peterson. This time he fields it flawlessly when the inning is over. We're going to the bottom of the ninth. The Indians are 3 outs away from running their win streak to 12 in a row. The game brought to you by Mazda. Second time around versus De La Cruz. That's when they sort of made their headway, but it was actually the third time through that they pounced on them. But they did a nice job against a guy they hadn't seen before. They didn't score a lot, but they've scored enough because they have kept Freddie Freeman off the board.
Yeah.
And the pitching has just continued to be dynamite.
Yeah, they're looking for their 7th shutout on the year. And they're 3 outs away from it. But by the way, I have a note I got to tell you. I got to tell Matt that they would have won the last 18 in a row had they had a chance to play those games back in '95.
Absolutely,
from our dear friend Albert.
I don't doubt him for 1 minute.
Message delivered.
Yeah. I mean, you think about that. And I think so much time has passed, we tend to just forget 100 wins in 144 games.
Yeah, impressive.
Fouled right back. Who was it? I'm trying to remember, Arch, because the 0-1 Seattle team, they won a ton of games, and then the Yankees had a huge win. Was it 100?
Someone won 116.
The 0-1.
See, the one thing that the '95 team didn't have is that #1 starter that could go in, and remember they lost every first game of a series.
Yeah.
It seemed like.
Yeah. But they still led the league in ERA that year.
Yeah, their pitching was very underrated because their offense was so good.
They just didn't have, as you say, a dominant #1 ace.
#1 guy that they could go up there with. Yeah, you know, having a fight with Pedro or Randy Johnson and guys like that, the big boys. But this is a team, the Indians, they have 3 that you could choose from if you have to.
Yeah, I mean, top to bottom, 1 through 5. Tough to find another Indians rotation in recent memory that really stacks up with this one. I mean, in '07, it was a very good rotation. CC won the Cy Young. Fausto had a fantastic year. Jake Westbrook, but Cliff Lee was hurt and really wasn't part of that club. He wasn't even on the postseason roster.
Right. He spent a lot of time down in Buffalo.
Won the Cy Young the next year, but you know, the '05 team only used 5 starters, and they were fantastic. Kevin Millwood won the ERA title. But this staff's been, and it's only halfway through the year, but they've got a chance to go down as one of the best we've seen in a long time. Cody Allen with a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Nick Markakis. By the way, during this win streak, and if you include tonight's game by Salazar, the starters' ERA collectively is 1.91.
Under 2. How about that?
This is the 12th game.
That's where it all stems from. The great starts out in the center of the diamond.
Markakis with a very patient approach here, starting the bottom of the 9th. Has worked the count full. Hit hard by Napoli and to right. That was a professional at bat by Nick Markakis.
And here, Cody wasn't going to walk him, so he throws one right down the middle. And Markakis hits it, gets a base hit under the glove of Napoli at first, so they get their 7th hit. So the leadoff man aboard here. Yeah, you don't want to give up any walks and give them any base runners. If they hit their way on, different story. Now you look for a ground ball in turn 2.
Well, the one thing I've noticed about Adonis Garcia in the 3 games in which the Indians have played Atlanta here, he's aggressive early in the count. He doesn't like to sit around and see a lot of pitches.
Like a lot of young hitters, they like to get up there and swing it.
Swings at the first
They
pitch
only
here.
get one here.
Nice pick by Lindor, and they get the force on Markakis for out number 1.
I'll tell you what, that was not that easy of a play right there to come in. I thought with his momentum coming in, he'd go to first base, you know, with a 3-run lead to get the out, but he goes behind and gets the lead runner. And had plenty of time doing it, too.
I wasn't sure he was even going to be able to come up with that short hop because it was, you know, it's a high bouncing ball. You never know how that ball's going to kick off the dirt. But he has a way of making the tough plays look rather routine. Tyler Flowers 0 for 3 tonight. Nice block by Gomes. Two for 6. He has gone deep. He's punched out a couple of times. Back just below our booth. And it's still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. We're in the 9th. Indians leading it 3-0 as they seek their 12th consecutive win.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And all Flowers can do is walk back to the dugout with the bat on his shoulder.
Yeah, that was a dandy right there. A nice curve ball, just drops it in. Couldn't pull the trigger, and it just locked him up. So out number 2 now. 1 out away for the Tribe.
And we'll bring up Eric Ibar, who is 0 for 3 tonight. 2 for 9 in the series. Fastball strike on the outside corner. Now the 1-1 over the outside corner. Nice curve ball for a strike. Ibar is down to his last strike. And so are the Braves.
Now the Indians fans are on their feet. They're cheering here. There's quite a few of them.
They make up most of the attendance, it would seem like, doesn't it?
It sure does.
And the 1-2 on its way. Did he go? He did not. And down to second went Adonis Garcia. So a 2-2 count. Boy, he was close to offering it that one, but he held up. Now Cody delivers. And it's up and away. Full count. If he loses him, the tying run comes to the plate. The 3-2. He walked him. And he's playing with fire now with 2 on and 2 out. And Emilio Bonifacio will be the batter. Bonifacio is 1 for 3 tonight, but he also flied out to deep center field back in the 3rd inning. And that's low, ball 1, and out goes Yan Gomes. Some uneasy tension in the Indians dugout. Remember last night, it looked like the Indians were just kind of cruising to an easy win, and all of a sudden Atlanta had some action in the 9th inning. With a home run and then a triple.
And that was that contested play at first.
Plus you had that, right. Broken bat bouncer to Kipnis. He'll go to Lindor, and the game is over. The Indians run their win streak to 12 in a row. They moved to 17 games over 500 at 47-30 on the year. It's the Indians' longest win streak since they won 13 in a row back in 1951. Also, the Indians are now 35-7 when they score the first run of the game. And it always helps.